On this computer. Okay, now go on. Om Jnanat Timirandasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Din Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you for coming back. Shashi Prasad Prabhu, hope your eye is okay now.
Not completely, Mataji, but okay. I have to work. That's it. And I have to participate in all these things to be lively.
So, is there infection or, if I may ask?
No, it's not an infection. It's an impact because of little, or you can say, strain. And I was driving around 600 kilometers non-stop. So some strain happened and something happened in the eye. That's it.
Okay. So, till where did we read last time? I think till 22nd verse in this class. Was it 22nd or 21st verse? Can someone please?
22nd. 22nd, Mataji.
Thank you. So, we started from 18th verse last week, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Ant ime deha nityasya yukta sharirana anashino
19th onwards.
tasmat yuddhasya bharata. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So now here in this Prabhupada writes that again and again he's saying the body is perishable and the soul is imperishable. So there is a mismatch. It's a mismatch. Imagine like the body is perishable and the soul is imperishable. That is why everybody thinks that I will never die. Nobody thinks that they're going to die. Nobody seriously thinks. Whoever think, then they write books and they try to preach, but no one is really interested in listening to them. Why? Because the knowledge is imperfect. Nobody thinks. You know, once I was in the code, in the emergency room, and it was like a 7-year-old boy. Um, he was dying. I mean, I was leading the code, and I told the nurse to get the meds, but she was very busy in looking at her nail polish because I could figure out that no one is thinking that really this will happen, really, even though it is happening right in front there, right there it is happening. It's not so far away. Very interesting. Just think about it for in your life, just for like every day give 5 minutes to think that really I'm going to die, just really. So ye enam veti hantaram. Yes, this is a very nice verse. So what is the meaning of this? Who will tell me? Living entity is the slayer and he's slain. Quickly, we'll revise last week, then we'll go further. Living entity is slayer or that he's slain does not understand. They both are not in knowledge. What does this mean? Please raise your hand or unmute yourself and announce your name. Shobha Malli Mataji, Hare Krishna. Finally.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry to disturb you, Mataji. I messaged actually admins also. I didn't know Mataji 7:30. I thought it was at 6 o'clock.
You're messaging in the Sunday group, so everybody will.
Okay. I didn't know that you create another group for Saturday Mataji. Other day I asked you the same link you said. So I had to put in the group. Anyway, Mataji, sorry for disturbance.
Driving, and then I was in here. We
Yeah.
drive at very high speed. I was driving at like 70 miles.
Okay, yeah. I was shocked when you said I'm driving back. So then I thought I shouldn't have messaged you.
Okay.
When there was yeah, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
He who thinks that the living entity is the slayer and he's slain does not understand. What does this mean? Please tell me who is going to raise hand. Annapurna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Soul cannot be touched by any weapons.
So what does this mean, this sentence? He who thinks that the living entity is the slayer, not that he is slain, does not understand. Or that he is slain, does not understand. What does this English mean? Yes.
Slayer is killing someone.
What, Mataji?
Slayer killing someone.
Yes.
Slain is who is killed.
Yes. Very nice. So what does it mean? Full sentence.
So body can be killed, but the soul cannot be killed.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Yes. So he who thinks that the living entity is the slayer means that this person is killing that another person. Like slayer means killer, killing. Or that he's slain, or the other person dies, because this person kills and the other person dies. Both are not in knowledge. So living entity is the slayer and he is slain. Both don't understand. One who is in knowledge knows that self slays not, nor is slain. The one soul cannot kill another soul. Soul to soul we cannot kill. It cannot happen. It just can't. That is what it means. Okay. But whatever has been killed only, but that does not mean that we can just 100% like commit violence. We cannot. However, does not at all encourage killing of the body. The Vedic injunction is Mahim Shayat Sarva Bhutani. Never commit violence to anyone. Okay? Never, ever. Not even forget about the body. Emotionally, mentally, also, we don't give violence. Because I know in Kali Yuga, Srimad Bhagavatam says, if I commit something in the mind, it's forgiven. In Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, the sinful activity starts with the thought process. In the mind, if I am thinking something bad about someone, I am there. I'm accumulating the sin. But in Kali Yuga, the mind is part is like cancelled, is nullified, because there's a concession, because people in Kali Yuga are dull-headed, and anyway, manda sumanda mateo manda bhagya upadita, very short-lived, very morose, always procrastinating, and they're not generally intelligent. So for that, the shastras have given the thing that don't, okay, in the mind, okay, but not, it should not come out, it should not become an action, because once it becomes an action, then then we have to suffer. We have to, it's just a matter of time when the suffering will come. So we should not take leverage of this 2.19 and go on killing. न जायते न म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता नाय वा न भूया अजो नित्य शाश्वतो अयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. So for the soul, there is never birth nor death, unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and premier. Remember, these are the 5 qualities we studied last week.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. So unborn does not take birth, eternal, it always exists, ever existing, was always existing, undying, does not die, premier, oldest, is oldest. It is fixed, soul is fixed, body is
Steady.
changing, not growing, changing. Undergoes, so a soul is fixed. Kutastha is the word Prabhupada says. And what are the 6 changes the body goes through? Yes, who is going to tell me? Everybody goes through 6 changes. What are they? Shadavikar. Yes, Shobhamalli Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Birth grows and it produces, stay for some time, dwindles and vanishes, Maharaj.
Nice. Yes. So these
Hare
are
Krishna.
6 changes. But the soul is ever existing. So these are the mismatch that Krishna is revealing, that we are sitting in a total chaos. The change of the body does not affect the soul. So that is why an old man also thinks, or old woman also thinks that we are young. They are young. Prabhupada says that. The old person thinks that I have the spirit of a young person, or young child. Why? Because the soul is same. The body has changed. We read this word vipaschit. Vipaschit is in Katha Upanishad, the same verse is there. But this word vipaschin is given. Vipaschit means it is full of knowledge or learned. But in this verse, it is kadachin. Mean eternal, anytime, past, present, future. So I'm just revising. Is everyone following?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, then.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Then we discussed that what is the difference between my consciousness and Krishna's consciousness. Like Krishna is also Chit, Sat Chit, Ananda, living, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. I am also living eternally living as a soul constitutionally. and full of knowledge and full of bliss. So, but what is the difference? So, what is the difference between one like Atma and Paramatma? What is the difference? Who's gonna tell me? Silesh Kumar Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Prabhu ji, would you like to say? He's there, right? Hare Krishna, Silesh Kumar Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Okay. So who's gonna tell me what is the difference between Atma and Paramatma, the consciousness of Atma and Paramatma?
Hare Krishna Mataji. It's so the Atma or the Anu Atma is like prone to forgetfulness. It forgets the purpose of remembering Krishna.
Yes, and we discussed why is it prone for forgetfulness. Very nice. That's one difference. Oh, any other difference, Sita Mataji? We read in 13th chapter.
Hare
Kshetra.
Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the super soul is all pervading. Like our knowledge is limited and our perception is limited. We can't perceive many things, but the mm, Paramatma is all pervasive. Is that the
Yes, so
right word?
one Kshetragna knower of the field is aware of only its own field. And
Yes.
yes, that's correct. Why is the Anu Atma or the small minute particle of the super soul prone to forgetfulness? What makes it?
Hare Krishna Mataji, is it because it's controlled by the modes of the three modes versus Krishna controls Krishna controls Prakriti and we are controlled by Prakriti?
Very nice. That's very nice. Go more deep. Why one becomes controlled by Prakriti? Yes, anyone else can also participate. Very nice. That yes,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
yes, Mataji.
Soul always it desires Mataji. So it keeps forgetting. Whereas super soul is all pervading and it is in every body. Whereas soul is individual, it'll reside in only individual body. Whereas soul present in all the bodies.
Mataji, what did you say? That super soul is present in all the bodies and soul is present in
Yes. Yeah, each individual Mataji.
but very nice. That's good. That's proper assess, proper understanding. But
Okay, Mataji.
is that why does the soul is the soul individual soul prone to forgetfulness? Mataji said.
Because we have desires, we desire things.
So what? Go more deep.
So the
I'm not
soul is
able to
covered by
think
a
of it.
lot of layers.
Yeah, illusion, Mataji.
Illusion,
Passion.
Maya.
Passion.
Maya. So always we are covered and we are under the influence of all three modes of life,
Okay.
material life.
She also said that mode of goodness, passion, ignorance,
Yes, Mataji.
old and Krishna is controller. I am asking more deep. We discussed this, that why
So
is the soul coming under the control of the material nature or modes of material nature? Is a resident of Goloka Vrindavan. Why is it coming under the control of the material nature? What quality, what kind of energy it is? What
It
energy?
is Tata Shakti,
Maya.
Mataji, Tata Shakti,
Yeah.
Bahir Shakti and Antaranga Shakti.
Very
Is
nice.
it? Yes.
So Tatha Shakti, what is it?
Yeah.
What is the meaning?
It's the bank of the river. Like we can go to the internal or we can just shift to the external based on passion. Yoga Maya and Mahamaya are the controllers of this. So based on that and based on the three modes of nature, we may shift.
Yes. Not three modes of nature, nahi. Based on this is where that Shubha Mali Mataji's desire comes. So we have a free will. Krishna gives us little
Okay.
and the independence lies in that I can desire. I have an independence to make a choice. I can watch a Bollywood movie or I can read Bhagavad Gita. I have a choice. Every minute to minute to minute, there is a choice. I can listen to Bhagavad Gita, or I can go to a bar on Friday night or Saturday. So there's a choice. So the choice, independence is given by Krishna, and we make a choice whether I want to go there or come here. So Krishna sends it according to what I desire. Oh, Partha, how can a person who knows that soul is indestructible, unknown, eternal, immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Is everybody convinced with this Krishna statement? Everything has its proper. Is everybody convinced that he's saying that it is unmutable, unborn, eternal, indestructible? So it's not killable. So if it is not killable, only how can you kill? You're thinking it like that. At least theoretically agree. I know we are not realized.
Yes, Mataji,
At least theoretically agree that there is
we agree.
like that. And this is a revolutionary verse actually. Why? Because so many people think that spirituality means no violence, no fighting. But Prabhupada says everything has its proper utility. Violence also has a utility. And how to apply violence rest with the person in knowledge. So violence is for the supreme justice. He's shouting upstairs. Can you close the door? Thank you. So, and two examples were given. Who can give me the two examples to explain that violence is necessary and is religious? You can read also, I'm showing you.
Mataji, a judge will give a verdict of hanging someone. A king also can give such a order, or the doctor who does an operation and he removes the unwanted part, or if at all he doesn't want to kill, but he wants to cure him. So these were the three examples that we gave.
Very nice. So the judge is writing a statement, death sentence for someone. It's sinful not to write a death sentence for someone, but there is no sin incurred by the judge because it's following the prescribed duty. Or a surgeon is cutting the body of a patient. Cutting the body of any living entity is sinful, but the surgeon is doing it, and it is not. There is no sin there because it is a prescribed duty. So everything has its utility. It's not that we reject this and accept this. So we have to start from this verse here today.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have a question. Are you all reading Bhagavad Gita in the middle of the week, or are you just reading it at the end of the week?
We are reading during the week, Mataji.
Every day.
Okay, very nice. Everybody.
Also, I try to listen to the lectures if sometimes I don't understand something or I want detailed explanation.
Mm-hmm.
To be sincere, I was little busy, Mataji, so I did not read Bhagavad Gita. I was little busy with my daughter's exams are going on, so I couldn't read. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
No. Okay, Antaji. But in that case, you can listen when you're cooking and all, na?
Yes, Mataji, that I am doing. Hare Krishna.
Coming to my 3 p.m. class again. I see.
Okay. Good, no, Mataji. He's getting influenced. Yes.
I don't know. Okay, okay, who's gonna sing this verse, please? This verse. No. I'm just gonna everyone mind. Yes, who's gonna start this? Chitra Mataji. And then Shobhamali Mataji can take the next one. Yes, go ahead.
आसांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णा निन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि.
Okay, very nice, Mataji. Translation.
As a new garment, giving up old ones. Similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless one. Purpose. Change of body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even some of the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes in the body, which appear from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in the previous verse. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the supersoul. The supersoul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas, like the Mandukya Upanishad as well as the Shvetasvatara Upanishad, compare the soul and the supersoul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are of the same quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird, and Arjun is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master and other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing position from one to another body or from one body to another. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjun agreed to do by voluntary surrender to Krishna for the instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentation. But both the Katha Upanishad and the Svetasvatara Upanishad confirm this. Samane vrikshe purusho nigamno nishaya sochati muhyamana jastam yada pasyati anyam isam tasya mahimanam iti vita soka. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or the other he turns his face to his friend, who is the Lord, and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxiety. Arjun has now turned his face to his eternal friend Krishna and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the slightest spite so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from the various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjun's lamentation.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Has to be memorized, commended. Vasha Jirnani Yatha Vihai Yani. Tatha Shairani Vihai Jirnani Ani Samyati Navani De. So gets a new body. It's like we change clothes. Like that, the body changes. Soul changes bodies. Same thing. And this is a very interesting line. Change of the body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. So the change of the body is caused by the atomic soul. It's not a chemical reaction. It is caused by the soul. A dead body does not undergo any change. It just decomposes. I said right in it's in Bhagavatam. It is mentioned. There is an analysis. Whom does this body belong to? 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam says that whom does this body actually belong to? Does it belong to the mother from whom the body came? Does it belong to the mother? Or maybe it belongs to the father of the mother, because the father of the mother can say, the maternal grandfather, that this child has come out of the body of my mother, of my daughter. She's my daughter. So, father, maternal grandfather. Or does this body belong to the person who has purchased the body and made it as a slave? People do slavery, buy. So you have, somebody purchases, and now it's like servant, slave. So does the body belong to that person, or does the body belong to the fire? Because after someone dies, some people offer fire body to the fire, so it becomes ashes, it gets consumed. So does it belong to the fire, or does it belong to the earth? Because some people bury the body. What happens? It becomes earth, goes back. Or does it belong to the wild animals, the like dogs? Why? Because some people throw the body away and for to be eaten by the wild animals. So it becomes the stool of the animal, right? So does it belong to the animals? Like that, there's an analysis that who does this body really belong to? Who does it belong to? So answer comes out, actually it belongs to Krishna. It actually belongs to Krishna. The body belongs to Krishna. It's Krishna's property. We are just rented. We are in a rental apartment right now. We all are. We don't realize, but it is. We think, oh, my body is better than your body, or your body is better than this body is better than that body. Or we see people, this body is sick, that body is healthy, this body is old. So it's a very high level of realization. It is not easy. Mahatma nastu mam partha. So very, very rare. Or manushya nam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatati api siddhanam kaschit mam veti tatvadaha. It's very rare to become fully Krishna conscious. It's not easy. Thousands and thousands of people are there on the planet. Manushya nam sahasreshu. Millions of people are there on the universe. Millions human beings. Out of those millions, some are trying to become perfect. Some. Most people are very busy just with eating, sleeping, mating, defending. What they want is they want food, shelter, or basic needs, secure sense of education. Those are I'm not saying those needs are not to be met, but when they are met, then they are satisfied. They think that's all in all. That's it. Chapter close. But out of these millions of people, maybe few thousand are trying to become perfect. And out of the thousands of people who are trying to become perfect, one may understand Krishna. One may understand Krishna. It's not easy. It is not Krishna consciousness. We say it's very easy. Krishna consciousness, eat Krishna prasadam, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and dance in front of the deities. The acharyas have made it easy. It is not easy. Because Prabhupada says in Bhagavatam that Krishna consciousness is like a razor's edge. You know, a razor edge? I know my father used to make shave with a razor blade when I was a child. So I think my dad still does that. So razor, that topaz, I remember my dad changing blade in the what is it called as, what, the shaving thingy, and you put a blade, it used to open up, and then you just screw it up and it used to close, and then he used to shave. So that razor, sometimes it used to cut while shaving very softly. Also, I used to see my dad's face will bleed, so sometimes it used to cut. So it's Krishna consciousness is that edge, that razor's edge, walking on the edge, that we can fall down any minute. Any minute, even the most exalted person can come under the clutches of Maya. So bottom line is the soul is very powerful. So it's very powerful. It is moving the body. It is like putting energy, like in your vehicles, car, scooter, whatever you may have, cycle. You have oil. Some sort of oil is needed. Engine oil, or AC oil, or this oil or that oil. High efficiency oil. Like that, soul is like that. It is giving the energy to live for the body. The body is dead, but it appears living. Everything appears. Prabhupada, I was listening to him, he was saying, actually, this world is dead. It's dead. We are living in a dead world. What makes it living? The soul. He said, you America. This America was a tract of land. There was nothing. But few living entities came and made big, big cities. So the soul makes it living. Otherwise, the matter is a dead matter. So it is, please ponder over each statement. Srila Prabhupada's right. Change of the body by the atomic individual soul. is an accepted fact by the atomic individual soul. Okay, so dead body does not change. Living body changes. Why? Because the soul causes this change. And again, Prabhupada, Krishna is explaining that it is going to die. It's a matter of time. It's going to go away. We lament. But do we lament when we change clothes? Do we lament? Please talk to me, because all the cameras are
No,
off.
Master.
Who is not?
No, Mataji. No,
Hmm.
Mataji.
So even though Siddhanta Prabhupada has said, if no one is listening, you talk to the four walls. The walls will listen. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada has given the provision, because very few people are interested in Krishna consciousness. So he said, don't get discouraged. So Hare Krishna, Dhaneshwari Mataji. So nice to see you. So super soulful
Krishna Mataji.
atomic soul as a friend fulfills the desire of another. So Krishna is fulfilling our desires. Krishna is giving us all the needs. Even before we ask, he's already given it. Can someone give me an example how? I just made a statement that Krishna is already fulfilling our needs even before we ask him. So give me how.
Hello, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, he's already provided us the sun, moon, and air and water and the oceans and everything. Whatever we need is already here. Is that what it means?
Very nice. Yes, so all this arrangement is already done even before I'm born. What else? Yes, Madhurani Mataji.
Mataji, I felt like it is an example, like you are asking. From last few days, I was looking for Damodar picture, and at my home, I found one very beautiful means cloth on which Yashodama is running behind Krishna. I will show you that. Means the last few days I was looking, and I found it at home very easily. This is the picture I found.
Nice.
This last few days I was searching and I got it. So it's like I found it. I was looking and Krishna gave me.
Damodar. Yes. So what was my question? Yes, Krishna is fulfilling the needs even before we ask him. One example I got, sun moon arrangement is there, water is there. What other? Yes, Mataji.
There's soil and seeds and stuff so we can grow food and eat.
Okay, yes. Okay. Thank you. What else?
One more, Radhika here, Hare Krishna.
Hare
One
Krishna.
more thing, what
The voice is
anywhere in the world, he he provides food for everyone, whether it's an elephant in the forest or whether it's us here. So it's like he's taken care. He takes care of every person or every smallest thing, be it an ant or an elephant. So.
Yeah. Very nice. Yes, all these are very nice examples. You see, we have to have a heart filled with gratitude. Because a heart filled with gratitude is udar hridaya, means is a magnanimous heart. The heart which is not filled with gratitude, always complaining or blaming or finding deficiencies in whatever we have, that heart is very shrunk, is very narrow-minded person, narrow-minded, but we say narrow-hearted. How can they hold Krishna in that heart if there is no gratitude? Tell me, how can someone hold Krishna in that particular heart if there is no space for appreciation of what Krishna has done? Not possible. So please be filled with gratitude. Consciously try to look what Krishna has done for you in your particular life, what were the spots where you were most vulnerable and how the things were turned around or how you were taken care. We all can write books on whatever we go through life. Each one person. I don't know anyone personally. I know people, but I don't know personally. Like you don't know me personally. Like that, I also do not know personally anyone. I know wonderful people are here, but personal level, I do not know. But I know that there will be traumas in everyone's life, different degrees of traumas. We all can write books about it. But in those books, when you're writing your story, edit the story by putting where Krishna came. Where do you think Krishna was the one who got you out? Write it and see and be full of gratitude. Anyway, so Krishna is fulfilling everyone's desire as a friend fulfills the desire of another friend. And then a tree is compared to the example of tree with two birds. What is tree compared to in this verse? What is
Body,
it?
Mataji.
Huh?
Body.
Very nice. You cannot put it here. You need to go on somewhere else. Thank you. What about the two birds? What are the two birds?
Soul and super soul.
Very nice. So what is the difference between soul and super soul? You can go in the living room. Thank you. What is the
Soul
difference?
is enjoying. Yeah, soul is enjoying all material things, like it is sitting and eating the fruits of the tree is nothing but whatever materially we get in this world, we'll be enjoying it. We'll never look at the super soul. I mean, Krishna, who is sitting in everybody's heart. So that's what I understood, Mataji.
Nice. And the super soul is waiting. When will this person turn towards me? When will this person turn? We all, Nectar of Devotion. I'm reading Nectar of Devotion nowadays. So Nectar of Devotion, I was listening to Prabhupada's lecture yesterday morning. And Prabhupada was saying, we all have a tendency to repose our love somewhere. We all are looking to place our love somewhere. That is why we have family. That is why we have friendship. That is why we have society. The only reason is because we have a tendency to love, but it is getting frustrated. Why? Because we do not know where to put it perfectly. That we are fully satisfied and the other party is also fully satisfied. And that missing point is Krishna. We are loving, okay, you're hungry, let me give you food. Okay, very nice, thank you for giving me food. But next, after a couple of hours, I'm hungry again. Now what? So, now what? So then it's there, but it is flickering love. We want complete pakka, pura, impregnated in stone. So Krishna is saying that this sorry, Krishna is saying this is a righteous fight. Is the points clear? This one important points. That as a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, similarly, soul accepts new material body, giving up the old ones. So Prabhupada is first explaining that the body is changing because the soul is present. If the soul will not be there, there will not be any change. Then he's saying that the body is compared to the tree, and the soul is compared to the fruit-eating bird, and Krishna is compared to the patiently waiting bird, the friend who is waiting. Okay, and what happens? That this bird is flying from one tree to another tree. Like we change body clothes every day, the soul is changing body. It changes, and it is going to change. Change is already happening. Change is already happening. If I ask, go back to the body of a 1-year-old child that you had. Can anyone go back? Does anyone have Siddhi here to go back?
No.
Nobody?
No.
I also don't have. So
No, Mataji.
Isha, this is distracting. I request you to please sit over there. Thank you very much. She's doing something in the computer sitting with me. So, yes. So the change is already happening. Transmigration is already happening, and it is very, very subtle. We don't realize, but it is happening. And when the change will be final in this body, then it changes body. Now the intelligent person asks, what kind of body I'm going to get? We were hearing Prabhupada earlier, right? Sita Mataji? Prabhupada was saying that.
Yes, Mataji, in the morning about what we think it's already determined in this age, but like what we will be getting in the next one.
Yes, but he was also saying that intelligent person will ask, what kind of body am I going to get next? We must have information. Any questions, or should we go to the next verse? Next verse?
Go ahead, Mataji.
Okay.
Mataji.
Okay, so Shubhamali Mataji, you wanted to read? Please go ahead.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Chandanti shastrani nainam dahati pavaka न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो न शोषयति मारुता. Translation. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can he be burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. All kinds of weapons, swords, flames, rains, tornadoes, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons, but formerly there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Firearms were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science, nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual soul from the original soul. The Mayavadi, however, cannot describe how the individual soul evolved from ignorance and consequently become covered by illusory energy because they are atomic individual souls, Sanatana, eternally. They are prone to be covered by the illusory energy and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of the fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varahas Purana, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcel of the Supreme. They are eternally so, according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So, even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much. So, cannot be cut, cannot be burnt, cannot be moistened, cannot be withered. So, whatever is happening to the body only. And these were all the different kinds of weapons used in Mahabharata. That is why Krishna is mentioning all these. We don't have a knowledge of this. We don't know. Nuclear weapon is there, but we don't know the antidote to the nuclear weapon. And here it is revealed in Bhagavad Gita. Firearms were counteracted by water weapons, which are unknown, which are now unknown to the modern science. We can counteract the weapons also. So he's saying it is Sanatana, it ever existing. It is separate from Krishna. It is not merging into Krishna. It does not become one with Krishna. Arjuna always remains Arjuna. Krishna always remains Krishna. They don't merge into each other. Okay, so I remain I, and Shobha Malli Mataji will always remain Shobha Malli Mataji. I mean, as a soul, she will always have her own individual relation with Krishna, and as a soul, I have my own, and so as each one of you. That's what he's saying. So even after being liberated from illusion, we still maintain our identity. We still have an identity. Should we go ahead? Who would like to?
Yes, Mataji, Shashi Prasad.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I am missing the classes, so I will read this time.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Achedyo ayam adyayo ayam akledyo asosya ivacha nitya sarva gata sthanur achalo aham ayam sanatana. Translation: this individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned or dried. He is everlasting, all-pervading, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Purport: all these qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same atom eternally without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the Personality of Godhead. The word Sarvagatha, all pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagatha, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. Hare
Yes,
Krishna Mataji.
nice, very nice, Prabhu. Thank you. So the we read about uh, not cannot be moistened by what were the four things here that it cannot be moistened by,
Water, fire, and burn, and wind also.
withered, or cut by. So that means this is covered. Unbreakable is covered because it cannot be cut. Insoluble is covered. It cannot be moistened by water. Okay, fire cannot touch, so burn is also covered. Wind cannot wither, so dry is also covered. Everlasting we discussed in the past, that is eternal, and it is Sanatana, it always remains. All pervading is the new property. Unchangeable is kushtha. Kushtha is the word. What was the word? What was kushtha? Steady.
Stable.
What was the word? Am I telling the word right? Kuthastha or kushtha?
Is Thanur?
What was it?
No, is it Thanur? It's written unchangeable, meaning Thanu.
Kuthastha. So Prabhupada says Kuthastha up here. Which verse was that? This one. Kuthastha.
20, Mataji.
20.
Yeah, steady or Kuthastha. So Kuthastha is property covered. I'm just saying that this is Krishna is repeating again and again the same thing. Why? Because we need to hear it again and again. Repetition is necessary. That is all. That verse is also coming. Repetition is necessary. Okay, so everlasting was covered. Unchangeable, Kuthastha is covered. Immovable. Did we study immovable? No, right? This is the first time. We have studied eternally the same. It doesn't change. So two new things in this verse are it is all pervading and immovable. Is there anything else that anyone else is seeing which I'm not seeing? So it is immovable and it is all pervading, and all pervading is called Sarvagata, means it is everywhere: land, water, air, earth, and fire, everywhere. We cannot see it, but it is there. So
Hare Krishna. What does immovable mean? As a soul?
it means it is fixed. It does not, it stays in the heart. It doesn't, okay, it doesn't go and merge with the muscle of the heart or blood of the heart. Blood in the heart and it goes circulates all over the body. No, it just stays in one place. It's immovable.
Okay.
In one place forever, and then when it leaves the body, it moves from one body to another heart, one heart to another heart. It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes, we'll go ahead. Gayatri Mataji, you can read. So two more properties are immovable and all pervading. Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
25. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushojitumarhasi. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Purpose. As described previously, the magnitude of the soul is so small for our material calculation that he cannot be seen even by the most powerful microscope. Therefore, he is invisible. As far as the soul existence is concerned, no one can establish his existence experimentally beyond the proof of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. We have accept this truth because there is no other source of understanding the existence of the soul, although it is fact by perception. There are many things we have to accept solely on grounds of superior authority. No one can deny the existence of his father based upon the authority of his mother. There is no source of understanding the identity of the father except by the authority of the mother. Similarly, there is no source of understanding the soul except by studying the Vedas. In other words, the soul is inconceivable by human experimental knowledge. The soul is the soul is consciousness and conscious. That also is the statement of the Vedas, and we have to accept that. Unlike the bodily changes, there is no change in the soul.
Hmm.
As eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic in comparison to the infinite supreme soul. The supreme soul is infinite, and the atomic soul is infinitesimal. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to the infinite soul or the supreme personality of Godhead. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in different ways just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. Repetition of something is necessary in order that we understand the matter thoroughly without error.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. So, immutable and inconceivable are the two more properties. Invisible, unchangeable. So, unchangeable. Did we read all these four properties before? I don't think so. Right? Invisible, inconceivable, immutable, unchangeable. So we cannot see it by our blunt eyes. We cannot see it actually with any kind of microscope also. We just cannot see it. We have to conceive it. So what are the three ways of acquiring knowledge? Yes. What are the three ways of acquiring knowledge? You can tell me one of the three. Yes, Roshan, when did you join?
Bye.
Yes.
Mataji, I am there since long, Mataji. Uh, the three ways are Shabda Praman and Anuman Praman and what is it? I forgot.
It's
Pratyaksha Praman. Yes, Pratyaksha Praman.
Yes, so tell me
Thank you, Mataji.
meaning of each.
Mataji, everyone knows about it.
You are just like my 13-year-old. Yes, Rita Mataji, do you know the meaning of each or anyone else? Yes. Go ahead, Mataji.
I'll try, Mataji. Prataksha Praman is like what I believe what I see. Anuman is by experimentation, and you experiment something, you make some hypothesis, and then you understand that. And then Shabda Praman is you take the word of advice, you go to a spiritual guru or a master and accept their word.
Yes, very nice. So Namalisha Prabhu corrected me in one. This Pratyaksha Praman is vision. Yes. Anuman Praman, he said, is like estimating, not experimenting. Like, for example, I'm sitting here and I'm cooking in my kitchen and the pressure cooker is on the gas. So I'm estimating now how many whistles have to come because I can't see the food inside. Or I'm sitting here and the train passes. So I'm estimating whether the train is coming towards me or going away from me based on the sound. So he said, Prataksha, Anuman Praman is estimating that way. Okay, I wanted to correct. I used to say that. So he saw, and then he said no. So soul's existence is there is no proof. We cannot experiment. We cannot see. Prataksha Praman fails there, and we cannot estimate. How can you estimate which you cannot have no knowledge? So we have to hear from the axiomatic truth. Vedic wisdom is axiomatic truth. It has to be accepted as it is. Prabhupada gives two examples to prove. One example is cow dung. Stool is considered as impure, right? Very impure. But cow dung is a stool of animal, but it is considered pure. Now, how do we experiment all that? Just accept from the Vedic knowledge. And another is conch shell. Conch shell is a bone of an animal, right? But conch shell is used in the DD room. In the pujari room, the arti is not complete after before the conch shell is blown. So we start the arti by blowing a conch shell and we end the arti by blowing a conch shell. It's not considered complete. But it's a bone of an animal. So how do you say that bone of an animal is pure? But it is like that. It's pure. So axiomatic truth. So soul is inconceivable by human experimental knowledge. Um, we will not be able to reach it. You have to hear it from a spiritually enlightened spiritual master. It is unchangeable. Uh, how is Prabhupada establishing that the soul is unchangeable? How is Prabhupada establishing in this verse? We read this, right? I will read again. As eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic in comparison to infinite supreme soul. The supreme soul is infinite and the atomic soul is infinitesimal. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to infinite soul or the supreme personality of Godhead. This concept is repeated in Vedas in different ways just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. So, what is Prabhupada saying here? Very quickly, then we can finish 2-3 more verses. Yes, Neha Mataji. Are you in a position to talk, or are you taking care of children or cooking? Neha Mataji? Okay, try. Anyone else can try. What does this mean? Yeah, Chitra Mataji can unmute yourself, please.
Hare Krishna. I will just try. I think the super soul is infinite, so it has uh, supreme power, and whereas the our soul, it is infinitesimal, so it means it is very, very small in comparison, and it is nothing in front of the super soul. That's what I understand. I don't know if I'm right.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you very much. Yes, Annapurna.
Something similar I wanted to tell Mataji, that infinitesimal, it might be 1,000 or much more times smaller. So just incomparable with the Supreme Soul.
Yes, so unchanged. Love you.
May I, Mataji? Yes, Mataji. Infinitesimal, it is like he's ocean and we are just a drop.
Yes, that is also good. Yes, very nice. But eternally unchangeable will mean that not that, you know, how a baby grows into a toddler and then to adolescent and then to a preteen, teen, and then adulthood and then middle age and then old age. Like body goes through this cycle of development, right? Because the body can get stretched or cannot get can give we can make it smaller or bigger based on whatever we are injecting in the body, but the soul is unchangeable. The soul maintains its size and soul maintains its proportion in comparison to the super soul. We cannot pick up a soul and we cannot stretch it like an elastic and make it bigger and it becomes so big, now it becomes like Krishna. So soul does not become God anytime. It maintains it is unchangeable. It does not become so big ever. It maintains what it is. It does not. This is the meaning of the word eternally unchangeable. Okay, you're all right. The answers were wonderful. I just wanted to add one thing, that unchangeable means that what is the size of the soul? What is the size of the soul?
1/100,000 of the size of the tip of the hair.
100,000?
1/10,000. 1/10,000.
1/10,000. Keshagrasya, Balagrasya. 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. So it remains 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. It does not gain weight or lose weight or gain height or lose height or gain head circumference or lose head circumference. It stays like that. It does not go up to the match the size of the super soul. Okay. Can we go to the next verse? Yes. Maybe we can finish till 30 today.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so who's gonna chant? Rupa Mataji.
Mataji, I will do.
Okay, yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Ata chainam nitya jatam nitya va manyashe vritam tatapi tvam mahabahu nainam shoshitam arahasi. If, however, you think that the soul is perpetually born and always dies, Still you have no reason to lament, O mighty armed puppet. There is always a class of philosophers almost akin to the Buddhists who do not believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body. Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed and they were known as the Lokayuktas and Vaibhakshikas. These philosophers maintain that life symptoms or soul takes place at a certain mature condition of the material combination of the physical elements, and at a certain stage the life symptoms develop by interaction of the physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently many pseudo religion now becoming fashionable in America are also adhering to this philosophy as well as to the nihilistic non-devotional Buddhist sects. Even if Arjuna did not believe in the existence of the soul as in the Vaibhakshika philosophy, there would still have been no cause for lamentation. No one laments the loss of certain bulk of chemicals and stops discharging his prescribed duty. On the other hand, in the modern science and the scientific war, so many ions of the chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. According to the Vaibhashika philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. So in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul or whether he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such an incident. However, since he was not risking rebirth of the soul, Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected with the sinful reaction due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. But at the same time, Krishna sarcastically addressed Arjuna as Mahabahu, mighty armed, because he at least did not accept the theory of the Vaibhashikas, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjuna belonged to the Vedic culture and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna.
So this is Sankhya. Krishna introduces second chapter is very difficult. So he's introducing everything. So far we were studying jnana, right? Knowledge, the soul is imperishable, inconceivable, immutable, unchangeable, fixed. But this is Sankhya. Sankhya philosophy means analytical, analysis. They want to analyze, go down, 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 down. So Krishna is saying, okay, even if you think that whatever I just told you is not acceptable and soul is just dies with the body dies, as the Buddhist philosophy says, still you don't have any reason to lament because body is just a matter is a combination of chemicals. So if a chemical is like lost or used, do you cry? No. So why are you going to lament about the loss of a chemical? So this is the science of anthropology is also based on this philosophy. Imagine Prabhupada is writing this in Bhagavad Gita. So even if Arjuna did not believe in the existence of the soul, no one will actually cry because some chemicals are lost. Will you cry if you lose a soap? A bathing soap is lost. Will you cry? Yes, Chitra Mataji. Yes, Mataji, will you cry?
Not for soap, but when you're talking about a living person, you have some relation with that person, then obviously you feel sad. When it's not just a body, right? You have some relation, some feelings are there. Definitely, Arjun would feel sad for his grandfather and his teacher because he knows them personally, he has relation. So in that sense, yeah, he would definitely feel sad, and he's right in lamenting in front of Krishna. That's what I feel.
No, that's your thinking, but that's correct. But that's not the verdict of this particular verse. We are let's be present where we are. No, don't go up, don't go down. This particular verse, what is Krishna trying to say? Krishna is trying to say that, oh Arjuna, even if you think that there is no soul and its body is all in all, and body is nothing but a mixture of chemicals. So when the chemicals are dissolved, or when cooking is an experiment, right? You know this, right? Your kitchen is your science lab, chemistry lab. You're cooking, it's your experimenting. So using different spices, different things you're mixing. So are you crying because, oh ho ho, my haldi is lost, oh ho ho, my coriander powder is lost, oh ho, my sambar powder is lost, oh I just put it, I can't see anymore, it got mixed in the water, in the sabji, oh salt, oh ho ho, the salt.
No way.
On and on. Do we cry?
No.
No, right? So that's what Arjuna Krishna is telling. What you are telling, Mataji, is you are giving analysis of the shlokas before and shlokas after. But what I am telling is right.
Okay.
Krishna is saying right now
Okay. Fine.
that, oh Arjuna, even if you think it is chemical, who cries for the loss of a chemical? Who will cry? Nobody cries. So there's another thing he's saying, that because you think there is no soul, that means there will be no birth. So chemicals are getting lost into another chemicals, or one form of chemical is getting changed into another form of chemical. So where is the sin here? Where is the sin? If you put water in the liquid form in the freezer, it becomes ice. Mataji, I'm talking like a Mayavadi, okay? Don't think that I'm talking like a Krishna devotee, but this is the argument. If you put water in the freezer and it becomes ice, will you cry, oh ho ho, my liquid water is lost, it became ice cube?
No.
So that's what he's saying, that okay, you kill them, and then they were chemicals to begin with, now they change their form to become another chemical. Where is the loss? This is what he, okay.
All right.
But he's also sarcastically addressing Arjuna, that Mahabaho means mighty armed, means who's learned, who's just not armed as a mlecha or yavana, but who's learned and knows. Can we go on to read another verse, or is it late? What is the time there? 8:30.
8:30, Mataji. 8:35, in fact. But more than us, it is late for you, Mataji.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are able to see your face, Mataji.
No,
Yes, Mataji.
because the work is busy, and I have had like back-to-back shifts plus morning 4:30 a.m. classes. I'm just tired. I'm okay, but I am tired. But what to do? It's fine.
No, Mataji, because there are another, see, we have another 4 verses. 4 verses is equal to 1 class. So I think this can be easily fit into the next class also. So it's more than an hour. You can take the questions if any, and then this is my view. We'll see even your perspective also.
Okay, maybe we can do this 27 verse. This is small. Can we do one more? Is it okay, Prabhu? You give permission?
For your satisfaction, yes, because you want to continue with your enthu. You're so enthusiastic, you want to continue it. Okay, for your satisfaction, we give a offer of one more verse.
Do it. Thank you. Yes, who's reading it?
I can read, Mataji. You actually called my name, so I'll do it. Okay, 27th verse. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrutyur dhruvam janmamrutasya cha tasmadapari haryerthe natvam shochitam umarhasi. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Purport. One has to take birth according to one's activities of life, and after finishing one term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this way, one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in human society for keeping law and order. The Battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause in the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid of or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reactions of sinful acts of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action.
Thank you very much. So this is a very powerful verse actually. It's very difficult to apply. Once now Anisha Prabhu, we were doing something for his I was working with him on some project. So eventually that project he had to go to Chennai to continue his time, like one at the gap of 1 week. So and I was coordinating from here, but it failed. Whatever we were doing completely failed. So I was very upset, and I called him, and he said it is very difficult to agree with the will of Krishna. He said that it is very difficult to agree with the will of Krishna. I kept on thinking about it for days. What does it mean? So actually, we can understand it in our life. Just try to see where are we having difficulty in agreeing to the will of Krishna. What is the will of Krishna? What does Krishna want? What does he want?
That Arjuna should fight, Mataji.
Yes, but from yes, each one
Our
of,
devotion towards Krishna.
In this verse.
yes, but what from each one of us, what does Krishna want? What does Krishna want from you? What does Krishna want from me?
We should surrender to the Krishna and our devotion.
Why? Why does Krishna want that? Very nice.
Come
To
back
go back to Godhead.
So who's
to go back to him. Yeah, go back to him, Mataji.
very nice? So who is benefited with if I agree to what Krishna wants? Who is benefited?
We only.
We are benefited.
It's not that Krishna is lacking in some servant because of coronavirus, so he'll get some.
No.
Right?
No, Mataji.
So we are benefited. But we have a blocker. We have blocks. So we have to each recognize our own blocks. We have to go through this journey on our own. It's not that Prabhupada gives example that there are two airplanes flying in the air. The pilots are best of friends. They are flying in the air, but each airplane has to take care of its own self. If one plane goes in danger, the other plane will go fly away. Will not be able to do anything. So we have to go through this journey. Why? Because I am going through this. I am in trouble. I'm going through one body to another body to another body to another body. Cycle is going on for me. Krishna says, stop it, yaar. Stop. I am saying, no, no, no. I am having fun. Become a dog. Hare, I'm telling you, when I started Krishna consciousness, I was in hostel and I used to tell my very good friends, they are still my friends. The Bhagavad Gita and all, I was very, when you start new, you're very enthusiastic. So I used to even preach to my medicine professor. So, uh, so, but my friends used to say that you have gone mad. Why? Because even if you become a hog in next life, will you remember? You will not remember anything. So what is the problem? You will be forgetful. Imagine that does not look like a problem. That if you are also, if I am also on the same boat and of the same mentality, that in next life I will become a hog. Okay, that's no problem. Why? Because I will not remember. Then there is serious problem. Okay, then there is serious problem. We have to address that problem. Don't sit with the thought. Eating stool is enjoyment. Imagine like eating stool is an enjoyment. So if you give hog almond halwa with lot of nuts, ghee, and cardamom and decorated, you give hot almond halwa, and you give a plate full of stool. The hog eats the stool. Is that enjoyment? Let's not degrade ourselves. Please don't do that. Don't. I'm not saying you're doing it, but don't give in to such fanatical ideas. So cycle of birth and death is going on for us. So Krishna is again giving another analysis to Arjuna. This is analytical. This is Sankhya. That whoever is born is going to die anyway, and whoever is dying is going to get birth anyway. So why are you thinking that you will be responsible for death or birth? It's your duty to fight because you're Kshatriya. Just do your duty. This is another. And Prabhupada is writing here that the battle of Kurukshetra was the will of Krishna, will of the Supreme. So it was going to happen, inevitable event. Whatever Krishna desires happens. Then what is my role? What is my role? Krishna did not want Arjuna to fulfill his desire to fight. Krishna did not require Arjuna to fulfill his desire to fight in the battle of Mahabharata. But what is Arjuna's role? What is Arjuna's role? Yes. Yes, answer this question. This is the last verse.
His role is to fight, Mataji.
His role, his role is to fight. Okay, go more. Yes, go more. Develop.
Because that is his prescribed duty.
Yes.
As a Kshatriya, he has to do his duty. He has to fight and protect.
Because it is Krishna's wish.
Okay, Krishna's wish as a Kshatriya, it is his prescribed duty. Yes, very nice answers. Very nice. Go more deep. Because
Hare Krishna.
Is he setting an example?
If he doesn't do his duty, he may be degraded.
he will, maybe he would be. He pakka will be degraded. But people, yes, that's very nice, Prabhu. Very nice, Prabhu. Very, very, very nice points you all are giving. I don't care. I don't care. I'll be degraded. I will still fight. I don't care. I'm a Kshatriya because we can do that.
In this,
Mataji, but in his case, he had already surrendered to Krishna and said, Krishna, I'll do whatever you say because I am not able to think properly. My heart is weak and I'm not. So I'm going to take your word as final.
He has not said, Krishna, I will do whatever you will say. He has said, Krishna, I am confused and losing my confused. Please instruct me. Now I am a surrendered disciple. He said, do whatever. Yatheshasi Tatha Kuru is 18th chapter. Very nice point, Rupa Mataji.
And you should not break the law.
Yes, we should not, but we sometimes do. Yes, very nice. So far, I will summarize. I got Arjuna's role as that Arjuna is a Kshatriya, so it is his nature to fight. We cannot go against our nature. And Arjuna, if he does not fight, becomes degraded. And what was the other reason? That Arjuna should give in to the will of Krishna, because Krishna is willing that he should just do it. But go more deep. Very nice points. What is Arjuna's role?
Ma'am, also Arjuna, I mean, as an Aryan, he has to follow. Otherwise, the forefathers, he doesn't prove to be true in this dynasty. So it's not right. He has to do his, duty.
Yep, he belongs to a very reputable family, and he cannot taint the image of his family. Very nice. What else? What is Arjuna's role in fight of Mahabharata? I'll give you a hint. 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Chitra Mataji.
I don't know about the 11th chapter, but what I was trying to say is in this whole process, Krishna is also trying to make Arjun realize about the knowledge about the soul, and he's trying to convince him and make him understand who you are actually, and this entire knowledge that he is giving to Arjun. So, through this, Arjun is being a disciple, and at the same time, we all also are getting this knowledge of Gita from
Yes, good point. Yes, so Krishna is teaching Arjuna, so he must learn. He's a perfect teacher. So if perfect teacher should be able to teach perfectly and convince the student. Very nice. Yes, Annapurna Mataji.
Yes, as a guru, as a spiritual master, Krishna's words, Arjuna should listen.
Yes, but saying, I don't know how it is true. So my Guru Maharaj job. He told me, leave your job, live in Gita Nagari. I said, Guru Maharaj, I cannot leave my job. I need to take care of kids. I have a mortgage for a home. I have this. I gave him the whole. He took rejection from me, right? He's my guru. So yes, Yes, very nice. But actually, unfortunately, the spiritual master that takes the most rejections. They take most. But yes, Mataji, that's principle is right. Your principle is right. Are we following it or not? That's another thing. So, have you heard of this? Nimitta matrin bhavya savya sachin. Does anyone know the meaning of this? So just
Yeah, merely being the instrument
yes,
in this whole process.
yes.
Yes.
So just an
Mm.
instrument. Nimitta matrin bhavya savya sachin. Oh, savya sachin, just become nimitta means merely become an instrument in my hands, because the war was inevitable. It's going to happen, and actually, that is our role in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is going to go on for next 10,000 years. Timeline is given. Whether I take it or I don't take it, fine. But it is still going to go on. But if I take it, then I will be the one benefited. I will be the one, my life will become glorified, and my death will also be glorified. Krishna will make sure, because Krishna promises that my devotee never perishes. He promises. So when we are living on the promise of Krishna, that Krishna will give the full protection, that is safe zone. Na? Imagine if Krishna is giving someone protection, what else they need? Whether living state or dead state. There is nothing called accident in a life of a devotee. Nothing. So actually it is not an accident that Arjuna has landed up in such a war. It was a will of Krishna, will of the Supreme. It was not accidentally. Okay, so very nice point. You all gave very nice points. So maybe we can look at, so we did till 27. Maybe we can look at some questions from chapter 2. I did not get chance to make verse 3, offense number 3. So let's see what the questions are. Krishna, 1 second. Let me make the slideshow. So we did this, right? Tell me till where we did not do. Scriptural codes.
There are no questions for today's coverage, Mataji.
217 sides of the soul.
That's it, 220. Today we did from 22 to 27.
So 6 kinds of transformation the body is subject to. I think Shiva answered this.
Yeah, we already answered this in the beginning.
So give the English meaning of word anu atma and vibhu atma. Yes, what is the meaning of the word anu atma?
Atomic soul.
Very nice.
Supreme soul.
Yes. So anu means small, vibhu means big. Why is it that killing of animal in sacrifice is not considered as an act of violence? So this is in 31st. Sorry.
31st.
So these are the 2 verses which were there. I guess we'll end here. Does anyone has any questions? How is it going with...
Ma'am, I do.
Yes, Mataji?
Radhika here, Hare Krishna. Ma'am, one foolish question, but it's not taking me ahead on Bhagavad Gita. Now, when Krishna was born, who all knew he was God and who all did not know he was God, ma'am?
Yes, tell me. Throw a guess.
No, I don't know, ma'am, because my guess will be...
His parents knew, I think. Devaki